The show begins with an ambulance speeding down the street, trying to save the life of a young man who attempted to fly. But by the time he reaches the hospital, it's too late. He's already dead. The doctors are baffled. Why would someone young and healthy do something like that? They examine his body and notice all his organs are intact, and his physique is exceptionally strong. They also discover he has no family or relatives to claim him, so they make a decision. They should make use of his body to save others. They extract his organs and donate them to people in need. In total, 6 organs are taken, the maximum any human body can donate. The surgeries are performed, and the team is left exhausted, still wondering how his body was so unusually tough. The man's physique was so strong that he couldn't even breathe. The man's body was so strong that scalpels broke during the operation. Suddenly, a nurse bursts out of the operating room, screaming in terror. The team rushes back in to find the room in chaos. The man's body is evaporating under the hospital sheet, and a tattoo on his arm is fading away. Everyone is horrified by what they see. They're convinced they've just witnessed a ghost, and flee the room in fear. A week later, we meet a beautiful girl named Minsu, who's recovering in the hospital with her father by her side. We learn that she received the heart of that mysterious young man. The doctor is shocked that she's not feeling any pain. Typically, after a heart transplant, the body should react or feel some pain from rejection, but she says she feels amazing, better than ever. With no symptoms or concerns, the doctor discharges her. Minsu is thrilled, and heads to a restaurant with her father to celebrate. While eating, her dad is surprised by her increased appetite. He also notices a strange tattoo on her. She says it showed up after the operation, and assumes it's just a side effect, thinking the doctors probably did it during surgery, so she doesn't pay it much attention. Minsu then tells her dad she wants to resume training in boxing, as her dream is to become an Olympic champion, but her father refuses. He breaks down in tears, reminding her that both her mother and grandmother died from heart conditions, and he's terrified she'll suffer the same fate. Minsu agrees to stop, just to avoid hurting him emotionally. Later, she joins her father and says, "That's okay, I'm fine." After a long day of training, she decides to return to her father at his boxing gym, where he coaches kids. She watches from the sidelines, disappointed she can't box anymore. Her dad gives her money for a taxi and tells her to go home on her own. While he changes his clothes, Minsu sees a child training alone. She decides to show off a move while her dad isn't watching. She jumps into the air and kicks the punching bag. But to her shock, the bag flies across the gym and explodes from the sheer power of her kick. Her dad rushes in after hearing the noise. Minsu panics. And quickly points at the child, pretending he was the one who did it. "Wow, this kid's gonna have a bright future," she says before running away, afraid he might realize she was lying. Confused about her newfound strength, Minsu tries to shake it off, thinking the bag was faulty. Later, she sees a group of schoolgirls walking together. She feels lonely and decides to go for a run to lift her mood. But then, something strange happens. She realizes she's running faster than a motorcycle, taking long roads in mere seconds. Even more incredible, she starts leaping through the air like a superhero, amazed at her own abilities. She runs through the city laughing with joy, until she suddenly crashes into a large vehicle. But she's completely unharmed. In fact, when the truck nearly flips over, she grabs it and pushes it back upright, leaving the driver stunned at what just happened. Meanwhile, we see an elderly man waking up from a coma. He's been in for a year. His daughter is shot. She had hoped he'd die so she could inherit everything. But the man reveals he heard everything she said while he was unconscious. He now eats like a man in his 20s. The daughter is frustrated and goes to the hospital to confront the surgeon who operated on him. That's when she learns the man received the pancreas of the same superhuman donor. The doctor explains that no one knew the donor had supernatural traits. The next day, Minsu takes her father to a hospital. Before leaving, he warns her again not to run too much for her heart's safety. Once he's gone, Minsu rushes to a long street to test her powers. She senses someone watching her. It's a mysterious man filming her with his phone. When she approaches, he hides. But she finds him. She thinks he's a pervert and grabs him by the arms, nearly breaking them. But then she sees he has the same tattoo on his arm as hers. Shocked, she lets go. They talk, and he begs her not to tell her father about his powers. He explains that he received the superhuman's lungs, and now he can control the wind. To prove it, he takes a deep breath and blows down the street, causing a massive gust of wind that nearly destroys everything nearby. Minsu is amazed. The man tells her that there are 4 others like them because 6 organs were donated. "You and I are too. That means 4 more are out there," he says. He asks her to help him find the others and form a team. Meanwhile, we meet a handsome young man walking confidently through the streets. He was given the eyes of the superhuman. Now he can see energy, hack systems, and extract any information he wants, better than any elite hacker. With just a snap of his fingers, he can access anything. He uses his powers to become rich, gambling and winning every bet, buying expensive clothes, and living his dream life. Later, Minsu and the wind-powered guy decide to join the Olympics, hoping to identify the superhuman. They identify other superpowered recipients, since many athletes in these games received organ donations. Minsu wins the sprint easily and takes first place. The crowd cheers wildly. As they rest and observe other competitors, a kind woman approaches them, offering free juice. She says she had a kidney transplant. The guy suspects she might be another superhuman. He checks her arms for tattoos but doesn't find any, so they start to walk away. But then, the woman bends over and he spots a tattoo on her back. He says, "I'm not a superhuman." They realize she is one of them. They sit down and talk with her, but she doesn't know anything about her powers. The guy demonstrates his abilities again, blowing away chairs and tables with his breath. The woman is stunned. Minsu asks her if she noticed any changes after her surgery. The woman thinks for a moment and says, "My skin has become flawless, and now everyone is mesmerized by my beauty." Minsu feels frustrated. She's sure she has some kind of superpower, but she still doesn't know what it is. As they sit together, the handsome guy says, "I'm not a superhuman. I'm a superhuman." He suddenly bursts in. With a flick of his hand, he turns off the lights and plays music. Using his powers, he hacks into all their phones and starts revealing personal information no one else should know. The kind woman claps for him and asks him to be their leader, but the mysterious guy gets jealous. He refuses and asks, "Why should he be the leader? He's younger than me and just showing off." He pretends to have important work and tries to leave. Minsu sarcastically asks, "Work? You've been hanging around with me for 2 days doing nothing. What work?" With pride, he reveals that he's a writer of superhero stories and movies. He's a writer of novels. But everyone laughs at him because he's not famous. Embarrassed, he uses his power, blowing away some doctors nearby, and storms off, thinking they'll beg him to return. But no one does. Minsu simply shouts, "At least pay for the food." We then shift to the elderly, superpowered man, who believes he's been chosen by God to change the world and become a superhero. He rises dramatically from beneath the ground while seated on a throne, oozing charisma. His daughter walks in with a businessman who wants to do a project with her father to make millions. She leaves them alone to talk, but the businessman starts mocking the old man, calling him crazy. He even sits on the throne, infuriating the elder. He curses at him, calling him useless. The businessman tries to punch him, thinking he's weak, but the elder grabs him by the neck and the man starts to weaken, as if his life force is being drained. At the same time, the elder starts looking younger and more vibrant. He realizes his superpower is absorbing people's life energy. To confirm, he places his hand on a tree. It withers and dies instantly. He laughs, knowing he's become even stronger. His daughter is horrified by what she sees. She goes to the hospital and demands the truth from the doctor reveals that 6 organs were transplanted into 6 different people, including her father. Now she knows that all recipients must have gained powers, and she orders her assistant to track them down so she can steal their organs and harness their powers for her own goals. Meanwhile, at her factory, a worker gets badly injured. Another worker rushes to call an ambulance, but their manager, who has the same tattoo, shows up and simply places his hand on the injured man. He heals him instantly. We learn he received the superhuman's liver, and his power is healing. But the healing exhausts him, and to recover, he must drink water. The more people he heals, the more water he needs. He gulps down bottles just to return to normal. The next day, Minsu and the mysterious guy are playing with their powers. Suddenly, he sneezes and accidentally blasts her far away. Terrified, he thinks she's dead, but she quickly returns, unharmed, joking, "Easy with the sneezing. That way, I'll be fine." That was intense. They sit and talk. He asks about her life, and she shares that, because of her illness, she couldn't finish school and has always felt lonely. That's why she wants to gather a team of people like her. The mysterious guy is moved, but warns her, not all of us are good. Some people turn evil when they gain power. That handsome guy? He might be one of them. Don't trust him. Minsu assures him, "I'll protect us all." She reaches out to shake his hand, but her strength nearly breaks his arm. Suddenly, the kind woman arrives and excitedly says, "I've finally discovered my power." She holds out a juice box and shouts. They all stare in confusion. What kind of power is this supposed to be? She feels disappointed, thinking she's the only one with a tattoo on her back and no real powers. Minsu comforts her, saying maybe it'll reveal itself with time. Suddenly, the handsome guy sends a message to Minsu, saying he's in danger and needs soon. He was caught by a gang leader who was frustrated that every time the handsome guy entered his gambling den, he'd win all the money. Furious, he kidnapped him. Scared and unable to fight, the handsome guy uses his powers to send his location to Minsu. Just then, the mysterious guy bursts in, and the handsome one is thrilled, until he learns that the guy only came because he had diarrhea and rushed to the bathroom. Minsu finally arrives. She demands the gang release the handsome guy and warns them she's trained in martial, but the gang leader mocks her. As the mysterious guy walks out of the bathroom, ready to leave, Minsu stops him. She takes a straw from the kind woman, places it in his nose, and tells him to sneeze. When he does, the sneeze blasts the gang members away. Minsu grabs the handsome guy, and they all try to escape. But the gang gives chase. Minsu uses her powers to throw them into a car, then drives at full speed through the It feels like a roller coaster. the handsome guy hacks into the traffic system. The car slips out of control and turns onto the wrong road. Minsu, using every bit of strength, jumps high over buildings, then enters a tunnel at lightning speed, drifting like a pro, and manages to stop the car just in time before hitting a wall. They're saved. But the gang catches up. The mysterious guy grabs a juice bottle and throws it at Minsu takes the juice bottle. But the road ahead is blocked. Minsu can't brake, so they crash into a restaurant. They sit, tired, and order 4 meals to recharge. Outside, the mysterious guy is angry at the handsome one for using his powers to steal money, but the handsome guy snaps back, exposing his secret. You steal stories from other writers and publish them as your own. He mocks him as a failure, saying if he were in his shoes, he would have already ended his own life by now. That triggers the kind woman. When he mentions ending it all, she yells, "There are some things you just don't say." The mysterious guy slaps the handsome one in anger. The handsome guy gets furious, summons electricity, and the two prepare to fight. Minsu steps in to stop them, trying to calm things down. "We're a team," she pleads. But the mysterious guy shatters her heart. He says, "You're not one of us. Just because I pitted you for A," and prepares to attack the handsome guy. But he accidentally blasts the kind woman, knocking her to the ground. She bursts into tears and yells, "You're all pathetic," then walks away, deciding to leave the group altogether. Sadly, the team splits up. Everyone goes their separate way, and Minsu is left standing alone, crying. She returns home, heartbroken, because deep down, she had always wished for friends. When she arrives, she finds her father waiting for her. He's upset and worried. He tells her he's searched every hospital looking for her, and asks what she was doing with her friends so late. But Minsu breaks down in tears, crying, "I don't have any friends." She blames him for always keeping her locked in the house, never letting her go out like other girls her age. She yells that he always made her wear a bracelet to monitor her heart rate and tied her down like a dog in a cage. She storms off in tears. Her words deeply affect her father. He realizes he may have been too overprotective. The next day, we see the old man's daughter watching a video of Minsu and her friends escaping from the gang. She realizes they're superpowered, and decides to capture them. She orders the doctor to prepare for experiments to extract their powers. Meanwhile, Minsu meets up with the mysterious guy and asks him to return to the team so they can hunt down the evil Superhuman, but he refuses. He says he's decided to leave the city and never use his powers again to stay hidden. He apologizes for what he said the night before and explains, "I don't steal stories. I wrote them with a friend, but he betrayed me and stole them all." They say their goodbyes, and he walks away. Minsu returns to the rest of the team and tells them the sad news. The mysterious guy has officially left the group. At the same time, an explosion erupts at the factory. All the workers flee, except one who gets trapped inside. The healer tries to reach him but can't get through the wreckage. Minsu and the team spot the disaster and rush to help. Minsu tries messaging the mysterious guy again, but he doesn't respond. The mysterious guy tries to help him, but he doesn't respond. They decide to go without him. Suddenly, another explosion hits, but the heroes arrive just in time. Minsu uses her strength to smash through the outer door in one blow. As she's about to break the steel gate, the handsome guy arrives, saying, "Leave this to me." He snaps his fingers, hacks the security system, and opens the gate. The healer is amazed, realizing these are all superpowered people like him. But smoke fills the place, blinding everyone. Then, out of nowhere, the mysterious guy returns. The team is thrilled to see him. He confidently walks in, ready to help. They expect him to rescue the trapped worker, but he walks back out, saying, "It's too dark. I can't see anything." The handsome guy says, "Follow my instructions. I'll guide you." But instead of helping, the mysterious guy gets into a fight with him. "You think I'm going to take orders from you now? Who do you think you are?" For the first time ever, the kind woman loses her temper. She yells so fiercely that everyone goes quiet, and they all obey her command. She insists they work together. She and the mysterious guy go inside, guided by the handsome guy, who tells them where to go. Finally, they reach the worker and get him out just before the place collapses. But the worker is unconscious. His life is in danger. Now, it's the healer's moment. He places his hand on the worker and heals him successfully. The team realizes he's one of them, too. But after healing, the healer collapses from exhaustion. He needs water. The handsome guy runs to get him some, but takes too long. The kind woman, panicked, grabs the healer's hand while crying. She begs the mysterious guy to help, and suddenly, her tattoo starts glowing. She transfers energy from the mysterious guy to the healer, reviving him. Everyone is stunned. They finally understand her power. She's their battery, their energy link. She's overwhelmed with joy, having finally discovered her ability. They lift the rescued worker and try to leave before another explosion happens, but they realize the handsome guy hasn't come out yet. We see him trying to escape, but when he sees electrical wires, he freezes. A memory hits him. As a child, he was electrocuted. His friends ran away, leaving him behind. That moment gave him a phobia of electricity. His eye was damaged, and after surgery, he gained his powers. But now, he loses control, terrified, crying, unable to move. The team worries and wants to rescue him, but it's the mysterious guy who risks his life. He enters the smoke-filled factory, blows the smoke away, finds the handsome guy, and pulls him out just in time before suffocation. They escape right before another explosion hits. Later, they all gather in a restaurant. The healer treats them to a meal. Grateful for what they did, he introduces himself and shares his story. He had a surgery just like them, and ever since, he's had the power to heal. From now on, he says, if any of you get injured, don't go to the hospital. I'll treat you for free. Minsu then suggests they each pick a hero name based on their power, like in fantasy stories. A handsome guy becomes Bluetooth because he hacks devices. Minsu becomes Rocket for her speed. The kind lady becomes Battery, since she charges them with energy. They all laugh and joke around, trying out their powers and enjoying their time together. For the first time, they start to feel like a real family. Minsu goes home happy. She finally has true friends. She finds her dad fixing the car, struggling with a tire. Quietly, Minsu uses her power to help without him noticing. He thinks he loosened it and says, "See? Your dad's still strong. Don't worry, I'll always protect you. If you're ever in danger, just call me. I'll be there in seconds." The next day, the old superpowered man visits the factory to meet the workers who were saved. He thanks the healer, shaking his hand, then spots his tattoo, realizing he's also a superhuman. He asks his name and some info, then walks away, smiling sinisterly, clearly planning something dangerous. Later, the old man's daughter captures the healer and drags him to the hospital for experimentation. She ties him down without anesthesia, determined to extract his power. Her madness is obvious. Suddenly, the old man enters and orders her to stop. He walks toward the healer and tries to drain his energy by placing a hand on his neck, but nothing happens. He's shocked. Then he realizes his power doesn't work on others like him. He tests this by placing his hand on a nurse, and it works. He drains her life force completely. To steal the healer's power, he tells the doctor to transplant part of the healer's liver into his own body. The doctor, terrified, has no choice but to agree, and the surgery begins. But the villain's daughter becomes furious when her plan fails. She orders her assistant to capture the remaining superhumans today so she can experiment on them freely. The assistant obeys and heads out with the gang. They manage to ambush the mysterious guy, covering his face with a cloth to knock him out. Then they come for our heroine, Minsu, who quickly prepares to fight them off. But her father sees the scene and runs toward her, thinking, are they trying to bully my daughter, or what? He gets angry and tells her, don't worry, I'll protect you. Just hide behind me, sweetheart. He throws on his boxing outfit, stands in front of her, and warns them anyone who touches my daughter will regret it. I'll break your face. He charges at the gang, but his shoe flies off, and he trips and almost falls, causing the gang to laugh at him. Minsu takes the opportunity to activate her powers, instantly defeating two of the attackers in less than a second, all without her father even noticing. She races back into position before he turns around. Her father, amazed by the scene, assumes he was the one who did that. Minsu cheers him on, encouraging him to continue. He charges again, and while he's in front, Minsu fights from behind, knocking out enemies one by one. She lands a heavy punch that sends one flying. Then she quickly returns to her spot and says, nice one, Dad. Keep it up. The gang, terrified by the power they're seeing, back off. Her father is confused. Why are they afraid of his cute little girl? Suddenly, the gang attacks again. Her father tries to stop them, but Minsu jumps in front of him, pushing them away, and fighting them all off. She sends them flying through the air, all while her dad still believes he's doing it himself. Minsu even lifts her father, spins him in the air, and defeats the entire group. Using her speed, she gets back in place. Her dad is beaming with pride, saying, see, told you your dad still got it. If anyone ever messes with you, just say the word. I'll be there in a second. Minsu smiles sweetly. Thanks, Dad. You're the best. She lets him enjoy the moment without knowing the truth. Meanwhile, we see the rest of her superpowered friends locked up in a hidden underground facility. The psycho-villainess is behind it, yelling at the doctor to begin experiments on them. She tells him her father is no longer useful. He's old and dying. But the doctor smirks and says, old? You should see him now. He tells her to go take a look herself. When she walks in, she's shocked to find that her father has become an idiot. He's become young, handsome, and strong again. She panics, unable to believe her eyes. Minsu is shocked. They're all in danger. She prepares to rush out, but her father sees her and says, I've known everything for a while now, sweetheart. Surprise twist, he wasn't clueless. He hugs her tight, thinking she was weak and bullied. He gets emotional, saying she learned boxing to defend herself, and he promises, I'll always protect you, just tell me who bullied you. Minsu realizes he's living in his own little world and decides to use that to her advantage. She lies and says, the bullies kidnapped my friends. Her father is furious. I'm coming with you, he says. They jump in the car and rush to save them together. Meanwhile, the doctor prepares to operate on the handsome guy, planning to transplant his cornea into the villain. The handsome guy cries and begs, please take my life, but don't take my sight. But no one listens. The surgery begins, but the handsome guy wakes up mid-operation, so they only manage to take one cornea. The other remains untouched. The villain, thrilled, with even one, starts using it immediately. He realizes he now has the power to control energy and devices. The handsome guy wakes up with bandages over his eyes in pain. Beside him, the healer, now old and frail, holds his hand and explains everything. He tells him the villain took his power, drained his youth, and now he's weak. He uses the last bit of his strength to try and heal the guy's eye, then passes out. Later, the villain holds a grand meeting for his followers, sitting on a throne. When they see him, they don't recognize him because of his youthful appearance. They assume he's a scammer. To prove himself, he flies, jumps high, and tears down part of the wall with his hands. But instead of impressing them, it terrifies them. Then he changes tactics. He goes to a paralyzed man and heals him, making him walk again. Then he approaches a mother whose daughter is ill and absorbs her pain, curing her. Finally, a man with severe burns challenges him. The villain absorbs the burn damage, which transfers to his own body, but he drinks water, and the wounds disappear. The crowd cheers his name, now convinced of his greatness. Just then, Minsu and her father arrive. The villain senses them and pretends to greet them as admirers, acting as though he's only there to meet her father. But in truth, he plans to drain his life energy. Minsu spots the tattoo on his arm and realizes he's the evil superhuman. She strikes him hard, breaking his arm. But he calmly drinks water, uses the healer's power, and heals himself instantly. He becomes angry and tells Minsu she'll regret it. "Give me your heart," he says, "or I'll take it myself." She snaps back. "Heart? You don't even have one." Her father, realizing this is the bully, jumps in to protect her. He throws on his boxing gear, ready to kill him. But Minsu stops him, holding his arm and warning, "You can't take him. This is beyond you." She accidentally lets a bit of her strength show, hurting him slightly. Suddenly, the kind woman and the mysterious guy arrive, having escaped. They're happy to see Minsu, and assure her they're okay. They introduce themselves to her father as her friends. The villain grows angry. He's being ignored. He reveals he now has the power to absorb others' abilities, meaning he's taken the powers of both the healer and the handsome guy. The teen realizes the danger. He now possesses two of their abilities. Minsu's father, still unaware of who he's up against, charges at him. But the villain throws him aside like a rag doll. Minsu rushes to catch him and takes the hit instead, knocking her unconscious. The villain appears behind her and sends her flying. Minsu realizes he's fast, just like her. She decides to end this. They clash in a brutal fight, throwing punches and kicks, their powers shaking the battlefield. The others can barely stay grounded. Minsu kicks him high into the air, but he blocks her next strike and slams her through a wall. Still, she refuses to give up. She kicks him again, sending him flying. She corners him and asks, "What have you gained from all this?" Then punches him repeatedly with speed and precision. He uses the healer's ability to restore himself mid-fight. He grabs her leg, throws her into the air, and slams her into the ground. He steps toward her to finish her off, when suddenly, the mysterious guy grabs the kind woman's hand, asking her to boost him with energy. He blows a powerful gust of wind at the villain, sending him flying, buying them time. The kind woman seizes the moment. She grabs Minsu's hand and channels her energy to recharge her strength. It works. Minsu wakes up, but the villain suddenly uses the handsome guy as a power. He shuts off the lights and vanishes. He reappears behind them in a split second and punches Minsu, sending her flying. He defeats the mysterious guy with a single finger tap, slamming him to the ground. He doesn't want to kill them yet. He wants to absorb their life energy. He moves toward the kind woman and she trembles in fear, thinking he's about to end her life. But then he realizes, the one who can transfer powers without surgery or pass his powers to others. That scares him, so he backs off. He decides from now on, he'll use her for his own benefit. "Do what I say, or I'll kill your friends in front of your eyes." Suddenly, the handsome guy and the healer arrive. Using his injured eye, the handsome guy distracts the villain just long enough. Minsu strikes from behind with a powerful punch, sending him flying into his throne. The heroes unite. The kind woman grabs their hands and sends energy to the healer. He heals the mysterious guy, who rises and faces the villain. He combines his strength with Minsu, blows a gust of wind to launch her through the air toward the villain. She headbutts him, smashing him through a wall. Her friends rally to help. Each one grabs the kind woman's hand to share energy. Together, they bring down the ceiling right on top of the villain. They cheer, believing they've finally defeated him. But the building can't handle it. It begins to collapse. Suddenly, the villain emerges from the rubble, grips a water tank and drinks every last drop, healing himself completely and becoming stronger than ever. Now furious, he grabs the mysterious guy by the neck, slams him down, and knocks him out. Minsu tries to attack him from behind, but he senses her and chokes her. Then he lands a powerful punch to her stomach, making her cough blood. She hits the ground hard. Her tattoo begins to fade, a sign she's dying. The kind woman breaks down, thinking Minsu is gone. She tries to save her, but the villain steps in and threatens her. "Transfer your power to me, or I'll finish all of them." Devastated, she agrees. She holds his hand, filled with hopelessness, but secretly, she's executing a brilliant plan. Instead of giving him energy, she drains his and sends it into Minsu, reviving her. Minsu gets back up, stronger than ever. She charges at the villain and hits him with a bone-cracking punch that shakes the room. This time, her attacks actually hurt him. She launches him into the air and begins an onslaught of rapid blows, not giving him a second to heal. She throws him into an electrical grid, weakening him. But she dodges every move. You thought I was just a sweet little girl, she growls. But I'm ruthless and I never stay silent. She lands another powerful punch, sending him flying again. He grabs 2 steel rods and tries to strike her. That's supposed to hurt? She grabs the rods and breaks them like twigs. Using her boxing skills and super strength, she unleashes a flurry of punches and kicks, completely breaking him down. Her friends cheer. It looks like she's finally defeated him. But suddenly, the place starts to shake. They realize the electricity is unstable. An explosion is coming. The handsome guy, terrified of electricity, musters up his courage. He holds the kind woman in the healer's hands and absorbs their energy into his injured eye. He finally overcomes his fear, stands in the center of the electrical surge, and absorbs all the energy, cutting power to the entire city. But then, he channels the energy back. A renewable form of power now flows through him. For the first time, the mysterious guy acknowledges him, shaking his hand. I'm proud of you. The heroes form a circle, holding hands, and begin healing one another's injuries. But suddenly, the villain awakens and grabs their hands. He tries to drain their life energy. It nearly works, until Minsu shouts, "Dad, help us." Her father arrives like a superhero, flying in with a surprise attack that sends the villain soaring. No one can believe it. Does he have powers? He hugs Minsu, apologizing for not being able to protect her sooner. She grabs her teammates' hands again, and everyone regains their powers. Her father charges at the villain, but freezes when he sees him. The villain is now an old man again, weak and powerless. Minsu realizes she drained all his power. The healer walks up to the old man, feeling pity, ready to help. But the villain isn't sorry. He tries to drain the healer's life again. The healer snaps and decides to leave him to die. The handsome guy uses his power, gestures with his hand, and the villain is forced onto his throne, or he's brought up in front of his followers. Everyone gasps when they see his true form, weak, frail, and powerless. They realize he's a fraud who had deceived them. The battle is over. The villain is defeated. Before celebrating, the kind woman suggests, let's choose a team name. They brainstorm together until Minsu says, how about High Five? Or the 5 Supers? Everyone loves it. High Five it is. Their first mission as a team. They head to the hospital and heal the rescue worker who's been in a coma. His wife is stunned when he wakes up. She cries, hugs him, and thanks them. The healer smiles, and the kind woman tells her, it was his power. The heroes decide they'll stay friends forever, fight evil, and spread peace around the world. And thus, the story of the 6 supers comes to an end. But who knows, maybe there will be a sequel. And you, dear viewer, if you had a superpower, what would it be? Thanks for watching.